morning, everyone, and welcome to the first of our quarterly webinars for the year, the Summit. My name is Onome Omenai, and I'm the moderator for today's event. Our topic of discussion today is Platform as a Service, analyzing the benefits to SMEs. Today's edition is truly powered by COURE because all the members of our panel to discuss this interesting topic are from COURE Software and Systems. On the panel are Ojukwu Obonaya, he's the head of technology, Stephen Welle, he's the product lead, and Eden Ozenugu, she's the sales and partner relations lead. I want to thank you guys for being here today, and I'm sure that our audience can't wait to hear from you. My panel members are primed, ready to share their thoughts. But before we do that, I'll give you a bit of background into the topic of the outline of the discussions will center around, we'll talk about the background like I mentioned, and then we'll take a look at some of the cloud service models, the users and examples of those. We'll also talk about the challenges surrounding SMEs in trying to build and maintain their platform and reasons why they should consider outsourcing. And then we'll take the question. There are three main categories of cloud computing, and they are software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. Now, with the software as a service cloud model, it provides consumers with the ability to use software applications on demand over the internet. And I think it's also important to add that, it essentially started as a proof of concept for a lot of companies. But over the decades, with proven benefits, companies have started using software as a service instead of having an on-premise locally installed application. Now, like I mentioned, the focus of our discussion is the platform as a service model. And with this model provides companies with a platform to develop, run, and manage their web application. And it just further extends the software as a service cloud model. When you have the opportunity when you get a platform where your web applications can run, it takes away the complexity of building and maintaining all that underlying infrastructure. And this allows the companies to focus on what they do best. The other cloud model is the infrastructure as a service model. With this model, the responsibility and maintenance of the infrastructure components are outsourced to a cloud provider. And your infrastructure components in this regard will include things like your servers, your load balancers. You have the opportunity of outsourcing the maintenance, and the responsibility falls on the service provider to maintain your infrastructure. In this slide, we will see the different cloud models and examples of models, as well as the consumers of those model types. Now, with the infrastructure as a service, examples of those include StackScale and Microsoft Azure, and then the consumers of that platform include network architects and IT administrators. With the platform as a service model, we have examples like OpenShift and Heroku, and the software developers are the main consumers of this cloud model. Software as a service includes your Gmail, your Office 365, and the consumers are the end users, just like you and me. Our focus is on platform as a service. And so in discussing that further, we'd like to talk about some challenges that a startup or an SME might encounter if they decide to build and maintain their own platforms. Now, one of those challenges would be time and resources wasting. Now, in the situation where, you have your own self-built platform and it experiences a downtime, you have to now shift your focus from growing your business or promoting your services to try to bring up your platform. And this can waste time and resources. Whereas if the platform was outsourced, the responsibility would automatically fall on the service provider. Another challenge that the SME will encounter or might encounter is the inability to focus on their core competency. Now, this just means that your focus is shifted from what you do best, or growing your business, to trying to build and maintain your own platform. And this can definitely affect the rate at which your business grows or develops. Now, the last but not the least challenge is the financial constraints or the financial burden it will place on you to build and maintain your own platform, especially when you have limited resources or you're operating with a lean budget. I haven't considered some of the challenges. I feel like it's only fair to also talk about the benefits or reasons why a startup or an SME should consider outsourcing. Now, the first one I'd like to talk about is time saving. And what do I mean by that? With time saving, there's no need to spend time setting up or maintaining your core stack. And the company can actually focus on their core competencies, which will shorten their time to market. Another reason to consider outsourcing is that you're outsourcing the service to experts in that field. And this can give you some level of comfort and can also help with reducing the pressure on your internal resources by eliminating the need to hire skilled staff to manage the platform. Another advantage or reason for outsourcing is to help boost your business focus. Companies need not pay attention to the maintenance and management of the systems. So when they're not focused on doing that, they can actually focus on, the growth of their business. And cost saving is also a benefit, as it eliminates the cost associated with building an application from scratch, hiring additional skilled manpower, and other operating costs. Now, these are some of the points that we are going to touch on throughout the webinar session. And I just want to let you, the audience members, know that if you have questions throughout the course of this session, please feel free to drop them in the box and we will attend to them. This brings us to the end of the first segment of the presentation. And now that we have a background to the topic and the areas we're going to cover in this discussion, I will turn to my panel members to hear from them. Now, OJ, Eden, and Stephen, based on what we've heard so far about the platform as a service cloud model, can you guys tell us who will benefit?
I would say every and anyone. With PAAS, you're essentially allowing a trusted third party to cater to your hard and software needs. You're basically getting all the benefits with none or very little of the commitment. The beauty, I think, is in the simplicity and the convenience that PAAS offers. So good PAAS solutions are usually simple enough for regular users like you and me to operate. Take, for example, Amazon, that offers small businesses all that they need to get up and running. Everything from web services, business analytics, payments, to lending, all in one place. What Amazon and other leading PaaS providers like Google or Microsoft prove is just how far-reaching and all-encompassing PaaS solutions can be. as it relates to our industry, that's bringing it home to Nigeria, I think value-added service providers and aggregators can take good advantage of the PAAS models available and quickly go to market and launch their services.
All right, thank you, Eden. OJ.
Okay, so adding to what Eden has said, I think any startup that has a lean budget can actually use this platform as a service to at least start up. It is it saves them a lot of time and money to be able to do that. You don't need to actually, especially if you're a company that is just trying to test their business model, you don't need to spend everything you have just to test your business model. So I think any company that is just starting, you're trying to test your business model, you're trying to see if your application will work outside there, it's advised to use that a platform. As I said, I've seen some companies who started with doing that. I wouldn't actually need to mention, I don't want to actually mention some of the names, but I know of a video streaming company who just started with YouTube and got to a point and decided, okay, we've gotten to a point where we think we can expand. And then they moved out and expanded. But at least they started and they tested the business model and they knew that, okay, right, people are actually looking for this content. Let's go on and expand it. So I think companies who are just trying to start up and test their business model should go along to use this model. The PAAS model, yes. Thank you.
All right, thank you, OJ. Stephen, is there anything you'd like to add to what OJ and Eden have said about users of the platform?
There's nothing to add, because just as Eden has mentioned, it's for everybody, both for small and large scale organizations. So any business can make it on the PAAS.
Thank you so much. Now, in the presentation slide, we touched briefly on cost effectiveness, cost saving. I believe that there's more meat on this bone, and I'd like for Eden to please tell us the reasons why we say that platform as a service is cost effective.
Okay, if you allow me, I would look at this in two ways. The first one being from a sales point of view. So I think one of the selling points of PAAS models is the flexibility involved, especially as it relates to the commercials. So most PAAS models allow for costs to be spread across a length of time. It eliminates the need to have capital expenses. So service providers are not burdened with paying a lump sum all at once. There's the pay-as-you-go model, there's the pay-per-use, which is generally a cost saver, especially for the startups. So SPs can opt for monthly subscription or transactional payment model depending on the platform provider. Now, a second point of view is as an economics. I see PAAS as being based on economies of scale. This concept explains one of the advantages larger companies have over smaller ones, as they are able to spread across their costs over a larger range of goods and services. So what happens is that as the production grows, the larger production grows, the cheaper it becomes to produce. So how do platform providers use this concept to solve the issue of costs? They identify and then they solve a common problem, and then they offer this solution to a large number of users. Doing so, they're able to minimize the cost burden that each party has to bear.
Thank you so much, Eden. I don't know if there are any other contributions to this point that Eden has made.
All right. I also want to add that for you to also use this, for you to use the PAAS model, it saves you the cost of paying for human resources. Because if you decide to start this thing on your own, to build everything from the scratch on your own, you need experts that can help you build. You need developers, you need product managers, you need network engineers, you need a whole lot of people that can help you build. And this takes a whole lot of money. It takes a whole lot of money from you. So for you to run away from that, it can help you save costs by using the PAAS model.
Okay, thank you so much, OJ, for your contribution. Okay, then also in the course of the presentation, we also talked about time saving, and I'm sure the audience need to know more about how platform as a service can help us, say, set up time. So, Steven, would you elaborate on this? Would you tell the audience how platforms as a service can save setup time?
All right, thank you, Nome. Yes, Ojukwu has mentioned some kind of points I want to dwell a bit on. Now, yes, it was about the cost, but here you look at the time it also takes to acquire those equipment, like Ojukwu mentioned. So it takes time to look at the time it takes a startup or an organization to set up their infrastructure from the very beginning. So the time needed to set up the system, the time needed to recruit the support team, the time needed to even come up with employ other hands that will have to make other things that will help to make sure that the pass. I mean your system is fully set up. So it's time consuming when compared to the time associated with just acquiring an already made platform just to set up your service. So it's also, apart from the fact that it's cost effective, it's also time saving as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Stevie. Any other contributions to that? OJ, I'll come straight to you with this one. Now, is there a huge difference in acquiring hardware and other technologies as opposed to the platform as a service tech offering?
Yes, there is. There is a huge difference. So when it comes to building from scratch, when it comes to building from scratch, you need a whole lot of you need to get some servers. You need to buy hardwares. You need so when I talk about hardwares, I'm talking about servers, firewalls, routers, and it's not just getting them. That also getting them takes time. It takes money. You will agree with me that the exchange rate in the country is so bad now that even when you think about getting servers, it's going to cost you double or 3 times what it used to be. And it's not as easy as getting them. And not just getting them, when you also get them, yeah, you also need experts, some people who need to set it up. You need time to set them up. You need to take them to data centers. You need to do a whole lot of things that takes you time and money to be able to set them up. You need to get all these things in place. You need to buy them. You need to pay for experts, network engineers, security experts to come and set these things up for you. And it's not just setting them up. They need to set it up. They need to manage it. So there's a huge difference in the cost. Now, compared to when you are using a PAAS model, when all you need is just to set up an account. And it's also even built in such a way that you don't need to pay an expert to be able to set it up for you, because it is some of them has already been made to be simple in terms of setting it up. So there's a huge difference in that. And it's not just about also the hardwares. We can also talk about the softwares, the operating systems, and some industries also that, or some companies who might want to have access to APIs that they need to run their services. And maybe getting these APIs also takes some time, that you need to talk to different stakeholders, sign agreements and all that. But these people, some platform providers come in the middle, do all this work for you. And all you need to do is just log in or create your account, sign the necessary documents if it is necessary. It's not all of them that allow the sign of documents, but there should actually be an agreement. At the moment you do that, you start using the service. So I think there's a huge difference in that. It saves a whole lot of cost and time in getting into the market. Yes.
Thank you so much, OJ. Now, so this goes to the entire panel members. I just want to find, excuse me, I just want to find out from you what the other benefits are. Now we've talked about cost saving, time saving, but what are the other benefits that the platform as a service model holds? What are the other benefits that it has?
All right. So Let me take this. One important thing we need to take note of here is the aspect of scalability. So as much as every business will want to scale, you want to grow, so you think about it ahead of time. What are the requirements? What do I have? Do I have the capacity to even grow in the business? So, PAAS models or platforms are actually a benefit, a good ground, for such businesses, to, grow faster than they would when compared to, just custom way of setting up their machines and all of that. So it's a very key important, it's a very important benefit that we should look at scalability for both startups and large organizations as well.
All right, adding to what Steven has said, I think that scaling is also very important. Normally, it takes a whole lot of funds also. I don't know why I'm talking about funds more while I'm a tech person actually, but anyway, engineers, we try as much as possible to save funds. So, but it takes a whole lot of money to scale. When you talk about also scaling your applications, you talk about getting also servers. You need to get more servers. Maybe you have a whole lot of clients and the ones you have can't carry you. Or maybe you even started with the application with running on a shared platform, and then you decide, okay, I want to scale. You still need to get a whole lot of servers to be able to scale to accommodate more users. But when you use a PAAS platform, a PAAS model, or you use a PAAS provider, you don't need to think about the cost of scaling. In fact, they have made it in such a way that scaling just takes a switching buttons, clicking 2, 3, 4 buttons, and the scaling takes place immediately. And then secondly, another thing is that you also save cost in paying, although I mentioned it about, in cost also, but if you're actually in this IT industry, you will find out that getting experienced people to actually work with you, forget about what is written on the CVs, to actually work and perform well is also difficult. It takes time to get people who can fit it into your company to be able to, work with you in your dream to achieve what you want to build as a company. It's actually difficult. And when you even get the good ones, it's expensive to pay them. They are very expensive. And so, but with the PAAS model, you don't need that kind of expertise to be able to set up your system and it start running. Then another thing is that it makes it easier for you to get into the market. The truth is that the moment you sit down and think about anything, to build anything, have it in mind that somebody somewhere is also thinking about the same thing. And if you waste one more minute, the person will get into the market before you, and before you know it, the person will take over all the market shares. So it's easier to just think about what you want to do and then move into using a model that's available and start testing your business model before other people start thinking about it and coming to saturate the market. So there are so many of them. There are so many things that we can think of when we talk about the PAAS model. There are so many things. It's what's it called? It's also encourages team collaboration. If you're actually also working, setting the systems up on your own, and you don't have that kind of expertise, it entails that you always get to the office before you do work, or you get to the data centers before you do any kind of work or any kind of setup. But with the PAAS model, it is just at the comfort of wherever you are. Some of them even made it possible for you to just use your phone and do your configurations, serious configurations on the server, and you are good to go. So that's let me just leave it at that. But that's a whole lot of advantage to use the PAAS model. Thank you.
Yes, let me just pick up something there. OJ rightly made a lot of points, but you also know that another thing participants will need to benefit from us is that some of these past or technologies or infrastructures or platforms actually, as much as there are ones that have, provided, by foreigners. Yes, we still have some technologies that are hosted locally here, and are affordable enough. Think about, you mentioned something about the dollar. So the cost of getting an application to maybe set up your VAS services or value-added services to, if it was built outside, compare that to the Nigerian-based one. So if you look around, you notice that there are still, ones that are readily affordable out there in the market, that one can also take advantage of. So it's just something I want to point out.
I can also talk about security. I see it this way: if you're staying in a service estate, you may not need to worry so much about your own personal house guard or security because the estate probably has that all covered. And it's the same thing with PAAS providers. They usually invest heavily in security technologies and they have the expertise for this. So users of PAAS models don't need to worry about the security, providing it on their own. They can take advantage or benefit from the security that is provided by the platform providers or owners.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. It's a lot to unpack. And in addition to sharing your thoughts on this topic, you have the platform as a service cloud model is kind of like, sounding too good to be true. Stephen, we have heard that all cloud subscriptions are restrictive. Could you elaborate on this? Is it true?
All platforms are restricted. Yes, actually, there might be restrictions on what package you subscribe to, but also bear in mind that upgrading them can remove such restrictions. So, and one good thing again is that you can only speak to the platform providers, to provide that or to enable more features for you. So there is that support there that you can always, talk to the support, providing more features by way of providing additional endpoints that will meet services. So yes, there are restrictions, there are plans, but you can always talk to the platform providers for enhancement. Thank you.
All right. So for adding to what Stephen has said, I think restriction can actually be because of security. You can't leave everything open for everybody. So in terms of security, some things might actually be restricted. But like I mentioned, one good thing about this is that you're always free to speak with the platform providers if there are extra features you need or extra functionalities you need, which can be exposed through an API or through another means. But the thing is that those restrictions can actually be removed. So depending on what you have, like I will always tell people that the reasons why those guys are there, the platform providers are there, is to help you grow. So I don't think you actually go to them for any kind of access or modifications, and they won't listen to you. They always listen to you because they actually want you to grow. So those restrictions can actually be good and can also be removed depending on the agreement you have with them.
Thank you so much, OJ. I just wanted to acknowledge the question that we have in the question and answer box, and we will definitely address your question in the course of this presentation. So Eden, I'll come to you with this. I've heard, and I've also seen in groups that all cloud forms offer the same set of services and that there are no varieties. Is this a fact?
No, it's not a fact. That doesn't sound correct. It's like saying all VAS providers offer the same set of services. And Stephen here would agree, who will testify how the service requirements of each client that my team brings to him differ very widely. They really differ. So just as the needs of the various target groups are unique, the solutions offered by the platform providers also vary. And this variation cuts across an array of industries, regions even. So we can categorize the cloud platforms by the industries they service. So here we think of cloud platforms for transportation and Uber comes to mind. Or we think of cloud platforms for hospitality and we think of Airbnb. Another and more popular way to look at it can be based on what exactly they provide. So is it infrastructure such as servers or data storage space? Or is it the platforms themselves, such as the framework needed to build and deploy and manage this specific product? Or finally, it could be softwares like various CRMs or ERP products. So not all cloud platforms offer the same set of services.
Thank you so much. Now, I have also heard that if you build it, they will come, that you always find users to take advantage of your platform. OJ, Please tell us your thoughts about this. Help us in debunking this myth.
All right. That statement used to be true, but currently it is no longer true. We have a whole lot of competitions, similar projects out there, and a friend of mine will always say that products are no longer tested in the lab; they're actually tested in the marketplace. So you can have in mind that you are going to build it, and the moment you complete it, you will have a lot of people using it. Many of us who started as developers, we had a lot of projects we built. They spent time, we spent resources. Somebody like me even spent money to build. And what I had in mind is at the moment, but it doesn't work like that. And by that time, I must have spent a whole lot of time. So it's not just only me. There have been a lot of startups out there who came up even with huge budgets, and they built a very good product that when you hear their pitch, you will think, oh, this will actually work. But many of them struggled getting users, and at the end, they lost their money and all that. So relating this with what we are talking about now on PAAS, I think it is better you test your model using a platform provided by a platform provider. I don't think it's advisable to now go burn your budget just because you want to test the model or just because you want to get users. You might not be able to get that users, but what is important is that you're able to also save the cost by using the platform as a service model. And also, even when you are also going through your iteration process of getting out from being a startup to a unicorn, you can now expand. You can expand. You can decide to now build stuff on your own. But while you are starting, it's advisable you use that so that you don't burn on your project just to test to see if users will come. But just have this in mind that you have built it does not mean you will have users. We have a lot of companies who are closed because they had that in mind. Thank you.
Thank you, OJ. Now, to address some of the questions that we have received from the audience, somebody wants to know, they are saying, assuming as a startup or an SME, they want to take advantage of an existing platform. Is there a way to customize the platform so that their consumer or to their clients or customers, the platform appears to be like their own? Is this possible?
Okay, let me take that. It's possible. It depends on the platform provider. Most platform providers give you access to that. So that is actually called white labeling, where the platform provider or any kind of model gives you a software or a platform without any branding on it. Some put their own branding, but from the application, you will be able to change the configurations to change the logo, the name, even the theme of the application to suit your logo and all that. So it is possible, and some platform providers and other kind of cloud models also do that. So it's possible.
Okay, so I'm hoping that OJ has thoroughly addressed your question and satisfied with his response. Now, another question that we have from the audience is they're asking, as a platform provider, what are we doing to ensure that the onboarding of our clients, is easy? It's an easy process. Bearing in mind that the requests from the clients will differ. So Eden, I'll come to you with that, and Stephen also. So please tell the audience about our onboarding process.
So personally at COURE, we've had reviews and modifications of our onboarding process because we understand clients need to launch their services in record time. We know that time is always of the essence, especially to our clients. So we make sure we have a working structure. So when it comes to onboarding, the whole paperwork, legal documentation, whatever communication that is required, lead presentations or getting a full understanding of the client's specific requirements, we try to work on that in record time. And then after the sales and paperwork session or part of the onboarding, we move it over to a different team that is responsible for making sure that the clients are fully integrated and are connected to the telcos or to the platform, or to just have their services up and running. So we have teams dedicated to our client onboarding, 3 different teams. We have the sales team, we have the products team, and we have our support, just to make sure that our clients are well satisfied. And then we have a workable process for onboarding.
Thank you, Eden. Stephen, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Because she has mentioned the onboarding process. So this I also want to make you understand, that this process is a well-known and tested, process, because we've had to use a couple of clients to, test this process, and then we've done a smooth onboarding of this of our clients. So it's one of the things that we stand to get when managing a platform using the PAAS model, because the process is almost unique. There are just few changes where, based on service needs, that you have to do some tweaks. But yes, there are delivery timelines that are shared with clients. And then, of course, once the clients have to, okays the delivery timeline, we execute these processes just to make sure that the clients are smoothly onboarded. So we do have them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Again, please keep the questions coming in, and we'll address them as we get them. Thank you so much. Okay, so I want to thank you guys for that eye-opening and very informative session. And so now that we have a better understanding of what platform as a service is all about, including all the benefits, I'd like to know, at COURE, do we have any platform that can fit into this category?
I would like to take that, from here. Yes, the 2 major platforms that are managed by COURE, and built by COURE actually, are managed by COURE as well. We run them based on the PAAS model. Talk about the all number query platform, that's ANQ, where our clients are able to, query number related data and, get results, based on, say, mobile number portability, and all of that service in it, including fraud prevention solutions as well. Then, but more specifically, I would like to talk about the Hub platform that was recently, that was launched, and then we've had to onboard some clients. So on the screen, you'll be seeing what I'll be talking about just in a few minutes. I would like to talk about just a brief description of it, and of course, Hub and the features as well. And it's also good to know, again, or to reiterate what has been said, who can use Hub. I will also talk about that. So basically, Hub, is a platform built by COURE to enable service providers, that's VAS providers licensed by NCC, to deliver all forms of value-added services, to be able to set up their services and then integrate with aggregators to deliver those service contents to their respective users who are also mobile subscribers. And then on the other hand, Hub also enables the platform, has its own portion for aggregators, to provide aggregators the ability to set up various routes and integrations with the telcos, and also link up with the service providers that want to push traffic or service content through them. It's also interesting to know that, yes, Hub also supports white labeling, like OJ mentioned, right? So basically, think of it as a platform that will help you to provide you with a simplified form of setting up campaigns or services. Campaigns when you talk about the USSD, and then you want to set up services that will run and then be distributed or consumed by your end users via SMS as well. So it's easy to set up all that. And one good thing about it is that you don't necessarily need the need to know all the technologies, or be high in terms of technical know-how. A non-tech person who has some business mindset in the vast industry can also, set up their businesses and their services on Hub. So there is also decentralized access to all telcos and aggregators. So aggregators of your choice that you want to also integrate with, yes, on Hub as a service provider, it gives you the privilege of setting up your services and integrating to, your primary and secondary aggregators as advised by the NCC, that's the Nigerian Communications Commission, the regulatory body in the VAS sector. Now, there is also the flexible billing benefit you tend to get on Hub. Yes, it's one of the features as well. As far as that is concerned, it gives you the privilege as a service provider to set up, various billing types, like you want to have the telco billing and other forms of billing. And again, yes, you can also render this as a service to, some applications or application providers that would require maybe airtime billing, through the use of the short code as well. So there is also various channels that, yes, I mentioned that, earlier on. There are various channels through which you can integrate, various channels through which you can also set up your integrations actually, and then get your traffic pushed or service content pushed from Hub platform to the aggregator. And of course, if it is the aggregator to the telcos, that's via API. So Hub enables API connectivity or integration, and then set up of service content and routes via SMPP. Of course, we also have the ability to do USSD via SMPP, and of course, through other means of it. And of course, we have the web application or the web channel or the web interface where you can also interact with the application. So also very important to talk about is the 99.99% uptime, and of course, other SLAs that assure quality service delivery on the platform as well. So basically, these are things you can see on Hub. I'm going to be showing us how the users interact, or Hub VAS providers can also interact with Hub, on Hub. So there are some VAS providers that already have applications that they can they've set up, or maybe for educational services and other sectors, including health. So should you have that and you want to do a direct integration to our platform, yes, you can also do that. And then you can also deliver your services via SMS through us, and then the setting up that integration through our platform. And then through our platform, you're able to integrate with aggregators and of course the telcos, depending on who you are. Of course, the USSD is also there as an access channel. So now the vast operation space there gives us some kind of areas or sections of Hub where some features are managed. Talk about how to set up your service or your content actually that you want to use, text content that you want to send out. For instance, those who are into daily quotations, so you want to set up the quotations, or maybe Bible quotations, or that of Quran, that you want, the end users to always get every day. So there is a content management part of Hub as well. Then the actual service that will be distributing this content and effectively managing them, Hub also has that as a section in itself. Then yes, you also want to see those who are subscribed or who are subscribed to your services or have actually requested for your service. So there is this part of subscription management too. And as still what we are promoting this morning about the platform as a service model, yes, we also provide the technical and infrastructural support to our clients. Now, Hub also has a very good delivery mechanism that helps to do some kind of filtrations, yes, or verifications. Talk about the mobile number portability. Both mobile number portability, DND, and the sender ID verifications that are tied to the delivery engine or mechanism of Hub all help to ensure that, yes, your messages or content are delivered to the right users and at the right time. So yes, and with that, as a service provider, you can still have direct integration to the aggregators, to deliver your content via SMS, via USSD. and all of that, and then via the web channel as well. Then, if you're also an aggregator, yes, like I've mentioned, using these two industry players, so Hub also enables a direct integration to telcos, so aggregators can use Hub, service providers can also use Hub, and then integrate to the telcos and also deliver content through their subscribers. So I will just summarize again the benefits again. So I've already mentioned some of them, but one key part I want to talk about is the standardized report. So you see every transaction on Hub that goes. So it's not as long as those transactions are, tied to your services. So as a VAS provider, you see your subscribers, you see all forms of transactions that are going on, on Hub, and then there are of course other notifications that notifications that you can see in case there are top-ups, and other forms of notifications you can get even via emails from when you are onboarded even. So one other key or important part is the fact that this platform Hub is built, based on industry regulation adherence, actually. So we talk about the DND adherence and of course the double opt-in adherence. So if you're a service provider and you want to, you're coming on Hub, so you're already assured of the fact that you will not be flouting these laws, actually, because we've tried to make sure that the DND adherence and of course the double opt-in adherence are also taken into consideration while rolling out your services. So this and of course other forms of benefits you can see on the screen are the features of, and then some of the benefits you can call them, of Hub as well. So let me just summarize this section by talking about who can use Hub. Who can use Hub? So I've mentioned the VAS providers, right? I've mentioned the VAS providers, and of course, direct integration with VAS aggregators of their choice. So there is that aggregation, that part where we, provide you that enablement, to integrate to the telcos of your choice without you having to employ hands of the IT specialists or experts in that aspect, because we would have to do that or walk you through the process and even assist you in doing integrations. Now, the extension of user interactions with client applications is another key part. So as a service provider, yes, you're sure of, setting up various types of services. One of them I've mentioned there is the OTP, so where there are some applications that need, or organizations that need OTP or one-time password or verifications, on their platform. So being a service provider licensed by the NCC as well. So on Hub, you can integrate with the third-party, applications and just deliver this as a service through SMS to them. It can come as a push if you want to, So, and of course, transaction notifications as well, where you are able to set up maybe for banks, insurance companies, extensions to all forms of notifications. Of course, the billing aspect I mentioned before, the gaming platforms, betting applications or organizations or companies. So where you want to set up services that will aid billing of their users, maybe airtime billing sort of. So you can also do that as well. Some gaming applications do that. When you want to take, for instance, a use case is when you're playing a game and then you need an extra feature in that game, and you are told that you need you may be paying as low as 13 naira. So there can be an option of billing the user via the airtime. So as a VAS provider, you can set up some services and then extend them to the gaming or betting applications. You want to do SMS blast, bulk SMS delivery, market promotions, or all forms of it, delivery of messages, as bulk SMS. As a VAS provider, Hub also enables that. Of course, you have to do some kind of sender ID registration and whitelisting, which we can also guide you through, with the telcos. Then the USSD part of the extension and management is where you can also set up, you are able to set up USSD menus. You can set up USSD menus and then see how users will be interacting with your USSD services, or services that you want them to, consume via the USSD. So these are, of course, I have many more of them, features you can get on the Hub platform as a service provider. Aggregators, have major role to play, like direct integration, with telcos on behalf of the VAS providers, so yes, we also have that place, for the aggregators on the Hub platform, where they can allow for integration, between them and the telcos, and of course, to extend that integration to the service providers. Now, the aspect of billing as well. So they also can help in having that kind of avoiding. I know that's one of their responsibilities, the aspect of revenue disputes between the telcos and the aggregators. So them being in place, being their hub, can also enable them to handle all forms of revenue disputes and perform various resolutions as they would want to, based on the reports of transactions that they see. Now, application owners and other providers, the health sector, the insurance companies, the educational sector, yes, you can, for some reasons, want to also, extend your service notifications, via SMS. So you also need the hub. Then the user interactions can also go where you want, as a health maintenance organization, that's the HMO, you want users to check their policies. As a bank, you want users to be able to check their account balance and all of that. You can set that up with the use of the USSD channel or the USSD extension. Now, the last but not the least is still the delivery of notifications, like the transaction notifications, the OTPs, and all other relevant application-related notifications. So that's it as far as who can use Hub and a basic description of the Hub service or the platform is concerned. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Stephen, for that wonderful presentation that you gave regarding the platforms that we have at COURE. Okay, speaking to the attendees, when dropping your questions, if you don't mind, we would like to also have your name and the company that you're representing so that we can recognize you. Okay, thank you. Now, to my invitation to keep the questions coming, we have another question here from an anonymous attendee. And they say they want to know if our platform supports connection to multiple aggregators. Now, they're asking that if as a value-added service provider, specifically now, can they connect, and they connect to their aggregator of choice? Well, the aggregator doesn't have a connection to, doesn't have a live connection to one or more of the MNOs. Can our platform support them in that regard?
Okay, if I get the question correctly, the question is about connection to multiple aggregators, to more than one aggregator, especially when the aggregator is not connected to all telcos, right?
Exactly, yes, that's the question. Yes.
Right, so yes, it's possible, very possible as far as the core platform is concerned. And I had mentioned that, the NCC also, supports service providers, who would want to, to enable them have a secondary, a primary aggregator and a secondary aggregator. You know who these aggregators are? They are actually there to help and ensure that your services are, available and running on all the telcos. But yes, this is a group of industry players that were just recently licensed. So some of them are still at the point of integrating with all the telcos. So Hub, we also know that or have that in mind, and it's possible to have integration, with the telcos, the aggregators of your choice, especially when you're aware of the connections that they have with the telcos.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Thank you for providing clarity. I hope that the person who raised this question is satisfied with that answer. But if not, you can still reach out to us. I'll drop we'll talk about the email address where you can send your inquiries to, so you can get further information. Now we have another question from another anonymous attendee. that wants us to explain to them clearly and to articulate to them the benefits of our services to SMEs. So who's ready to take a crack at this?
Yes, I might just have to start. So this this participant is asking about the benefits of our platform to SMEs. Now, the vast hosting platform hub that I mentioned is built also to assist SMEs, those who want to start or who want to invest into the vast space. Actually, you have service ideas, value-added services that you want mobile users to, consume or to benefit from. You have a solution, a problem you want to solve out there, and you feel the vast space is a suitable one for you, but with less income to build up the basic infrastructure and, of course, the server space and all that you need. So the technical aspect that we have also mentioned. So the benefits to you is that there is no need to consider building a platform because Hub is ready and available for you to ride on and set up your service. All you need is get your normal licensing and, of course, have a proper description of your service, and your service is enlisted on Hub and you start running your business, and of course, there is this promotion or this idea of you also scaling, your service promotions as much as possible, still on the Hub platform. So I think that's one of the benefits that I can talk about now. Maybe OJ can assist and others.
Yeah, and another benefit I think would be the speed to market. So the vast market is highly competitive. There are a lot of players. So vast providers or service providers want to see how fast they can roll out their services and actually start making money for themselves. So the Hub platform enables vast providers to do exactly this. They give them the platform to host and manage their services, and then they can launch their services into the market and start generating actual income from it.
I will add also, this is actually the benefits of this are most of the things we also mentioned when we're talking about the benefits of using a PAAS model. And one of the most important of all of them, like I will say, I don't know why I'm talking about funding and finance this time around. So it's still about cost. The startup cost in using Hub, I think you can't compare it with starting from the beginning to build. And then you also have a platform where, even as a vast provider, you have various aggregators like we talked about. You have various aggregators that are already incorporated, because see, it takes time to do these integrations. It takes time to do the integration technically, and you have to also do some paperwork. You need to do a whole lot of communications, and it's not easy to get through all these things. But on Hub, all these things are already set up, and the aggregators you need are also already set up there. And what you just need to do is, I can't remember how much the fee is, but I don't think it can compare it with what you have when you want to start from the beginning to build from the scratch, to build whatever service you need from the scratch. And then we also have a very good technical team that even go as far as helping you even build your service to make sure it works. We have a very good support team that also makes sure that your system is always up and running. So, and these are things that will take you so much money if you decide to start it on your own, to manage on your own. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for all that you have just said. And this is to the audience now. I'm sure that you are comfortable and, having heard all the benefits of having heard that COURE has a platform that can help you roll out, to market on time, and save costs and have experts that will work with you, support you, and all of that. Please know that for further inquiries, you can contact us at sales@couretech.com. COURE is spelled as COUR-tech, TECH.com. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of the discussions today. And I'm positive that we have been able to contribute to your understanding and to also point out clearly that the platforms at COURE are available and ready for your use. Like I mentioned, we're expecting you to reach out to us for your inquiries and to also, of course, use our services. The email address to reach out to remains sales@couretech.com. COURE is spelled COURE-TECH.com. Our website is www.couretech.com. Okay, we look forward to hearing from you. So a special thanks and appreciation go out to my panel members, my colleagues who have taken out time and also giving tremendous contribution to another successful session. But I especially want to also thank the attendees for taking out time to join us today, and we are waiting to hear from you. Our platforms, again, I repeat, are available and ready for use. So thank you so much for this edition, for joining us today, and have a wonderful and productive day. Thank you.